it's help to buy scheme. I really think it's help to sell. It's a help to sell scheme. I don't even think it was created to really, truly bring financial independence to first-time buyers. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Samuel Leeds, and in this video, I wanted to give my thoughts and really explain what the Help to Buy government scheme is, what it's about, and whether I think it's a good idea and whether you should do it or not. So firstly, what is the Help to Buy government scheme? Okay, so there's different types of Help to Buy schemes. There's Help to Buy ISAs, there's Help to Buy with the mortgage, with the property. But generally speaking, this is what it is. And I'm summarizing a little bit. It's when the government will lend you, they'll give you a loan, and it's usually interest-free for 5 years. And this loan helps you with your deposit when you're buying a property. So instead of having to put down maybe 20%, they'll give you the vast bulk of the deposit. You'll only put down 5%, and then the mortgage will then top up the rest of the difference for the purchase price. So what it means is, it means that you can buy a house with very, very little money. Now, whilst that's great, and if you're looking to buy a house and you haven't got much money, if you're like, oh my gosh, I need to buy a house that I want to live in, and I'm a first-time buyer, and I really haven't got that much money, I guess the Help to Buy scheme could help you. It could be good. The problem with it is, and this is the problem whenever the government help you, there's always an agenda and there's always strings attached. So with the Help to Buy scheme, firstly, they're not helping you to buy it by giving you money, okay? All they're doing is they're just loaning you money. So you still need to pay that money back. And if you don't, when you sell the house, the government will have a stake in that house. So, and it's interest-free, but it's only interest-free for a fixed period of time. So really, it's not much different from just having a really high mortgage. Whilst they're helping you, I guess, get on the ladder, I think that's the first thing to bear in mind. Second thing to bear in mind is you can't buy a house and then rent it out. So there's a lot of restrictions involved. In fact, you can't just buy any house. You have to live there. You have to buy a house of a particular price. Generally speaking, it depends on where it is in the UK. It needs to be under £600,000, which still gives you quite a lot of room to buy the kind of house that you'd probably want to buy anyway. But I think the biggest problem is, often with these Help to Buy schemes, is the house that you need to buy, it needs to be a new build. So it needs to be a brand new house. It's not just a case of, what house do we want to move into? This one's really nice. No, they force you down a particular avenue. So buying a new build house to live in is just not smart. It's not smart, in my opinion. Because if you buy a brand new house, when you buy a brand new house, usually the value drops straight away. So you're buying a house that the value is probably likely to drop. You're very highly leveraged on the house because you've borrowed from the bank, and now all you've done is borrowed from the government. So you're going to be in negative equity potentially very quickly, meaning that the value of the house is lower than the debt on the house. So that's not good. And not only that, but the house, because you've got to live in it, you can't rent it out, it's not going to even make you any money. So that kind of a house is going to be a liability. You're going to have a lot of debt that comes with it. So whilst it's attractive that the government are going to give you the money and you're going to only be able to put down a small, whilst that's an attractive offer, I think it's a really, there's a lot of strings attached, and I'd be really careful about doing that. And the kind of people that are attracted to a Help to Buy type scheme are people that are struggling financially, generally speaking, because they're first-time buyers, they haven't got much money for a deposit. So what's happening is people that are struggling for money are being encouraged to take on more debt, but not good debt. Okay, I'm all for taking on good debt as an investment, but bad debt, and then getting into negative equity. And you know what? I don't want to be too controversial because I already say enough controversial things, and the government they don't like my message. My message of financial freedom and investments. The government aren't a fan of that because their message is go to school, get good grades, study hard, then go to university and get government debt, right? Then leave university and get a good job for life. Then be a good boy in the office until you're 67 years old and then retire on 40% of what you couldn't afford to live on in the first place after working 40 years for 40 hours a week. And that's the message. You know, that's what we're told to do. And I feel like the Help to Buy scheme is gonna make that happen even more so, because people are gonna end up getting into the rat race and getting into debt and having a property that they live in. I wouldn't even recommend getting a property that you live in. I'd recommend just the little money that you've got, okay, just rent somewhere and then use that little money that you've got to try and get some investments, or invest it in yourself. Like, so for me, not a fan of the Help to Buy scheme. Even the Help to Buy ISAs, you know, oh, the government are doing these Help to Buy ISAs. Isn't it fantastic? Isn't it great? If you keep saving, then the government will give you a bonus. But that's what they want. They want you to save. Then you do what with the money? You put the money in ISA in the bank. But that's a bad plan, because rich people don't save. What rich people do is they let money flow through them and they invest. Because again, it's what we're told to do. And I hate to sound like a conspiracist, and this video might even be taken down by YouTube, because this is not the kind of message that the system wants. But I don't care, man, because I'll tell you something, the system wants you to be poor. You go to a bank and you ask for a loan of £20,000 and you tell them you want to invest it in property. Okay, and they're going to say that's too risky. But you tell them you want to invest it on a holiday or on a wedding, and they'll say no problem. So why is that? Why will the bank not give you money to invest it in a property because it's too risky, but then they'll happily give you the money to go on a holiday or to get married? I'll tell you why. It's because the system want you to be in debt and want you to be a slave and want you to be stuck in the rat race and being charged. You might not be charged from the government for five years, but then suddenly you got interest to pay, right? So for me, I feel like it's just so obvious that what's trying to happen here. And I wouldn't say it's a scam, but I'll tell you something. The whole system is set up so that you're poor. That's how it's set up. And ultimately as well, okay, because George Osborne announced Help to Buy in 2013 to help the first-time buyers. I just don't believe that. I don't believe it's to help the first-time buyers. Do you know what it's actually for? It's always to help the rich. It's to help the developers. As a developer, I can't benefit from Help to Buy schemes. Okay, I can't benefit from it because I'm not a first-time buyer. I'm not wanting to buy a new build house to live in. I don't tick the box. I can't benefit from it. But I actually can benefit from it. Because I'm a house builder. I buy land and build houses and sell the new build houses off for scratch. Sorry, I buy land, build houses, and then I sell the houses off. So from my perspective as a property developer, the Help to Buy scheme is fantastic. Why? Because it means that when I build these new houses, I can flog them easier. Because people like you maybe that are watching the video, I don't know, or these people that are being helped by the government, they can afford to buy my houses at a premium rate and the government back them. So actually it's called a Help to Buy scheme. I really think it's Help to Sell. It's a Help to Sell scheme. And I don't even think it was created to really, truly bring financial independence to first-time buyers. I think it's to help developers, it's to help the seller. And all of these things, it's the same as when George Osborne brought in Section 24, 2016. That was when it was announced, phased into 2020. What's that done? Everyone said, he said it's to help the tenants. It's to help first-time buyers. But it hasn't, because all it does is it's just pushed up rents. So rents have gone up. And Section 24 doesn't even apply for companies. They changed the rules. So you buy in a company and it doesn't affect you. So it's like, is this really to help the tenants and the first-time buyers? Section 24 made me very wealthy. I'm very happy about Section 24. Help to Buy scheme, very happy about it. But I'm advising you watching this video, because you've probably seen the title and you're thinking of getting the government to help you and getting an ISA and saving up money, that when you save up money and put it in the bank, which is what we're told to do by the media and the government and the education system. It's all part of the same, ran by the elite, super rich. And guess what? The super rich don't want you to have financial independence, because the super rich, they want all the wealth. Okay? So when you're told by the system and the TV and the media and the government and at school to save up money and put it in the bank because that's safe, number one, the money in the bank shrinks because of cost of inflation, so it's actually a stupid thing to do. But what do you think the bank do with your money? They invest it in property. So they tell you one thing and they do another thing. They tell you, invest in the bank because it's safe. But then you give all the money. I tell you something, if tomorrow we all said to the banks, can we have our money please? They wouldn't be able to give it to us because they've invested it all in property. The very thing that they don't let us do because they tell us it's too risky. So, as I say, controversial video. I expect this video to get a lot of hate. I expect this video even potentially to be taken down. But the system wants you poor. The media, the super rich, the elite, the government, the banks, even the education system. Like the education system themselves, the teachers themselves, like they just teach what they're told to teach, okay? But what can they teach? They can only teach what's put in the curriculum by who? By the government. So, should you get Help to Buy? It's up to you, man. Would I? Nope. Anyway, I'll see you next time.